Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
All right, I don't know where we're going to end up today because the staff is beleaguered. And when I mean the staff, I mean all of us. There is just a lot going on right now.
I'm confused, man.
Okay, we need to figure this out. For those of you who ride with this show is soaring into the sky. This show has never been more popular than it is right now today. It is, by whatever measurements you want to choose, it's the biggest thing in AM radio.
Yeah.
In the age of Netflix and Amazon, there is nothing bigger in the niche of sports on AM radio, a medium from the 1950s, than this show. And
I'll take it.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. We have conquered this tiny, tiny world.
Actually, terrestrially, we could do better.
Okay.
But podcast.
Yes. Reach. Mighty reach an audience in 2018.
The future. Yeah.
And so, what has just happened is now people want us. We have been very unpopular for a very long time. We're used to the barrage of insults, but now people want us. And what's going to happen here is ESPN will overexpose us. We will flame out, and then they will, replace us in 2 years.
2 years? Well,
yeah, the whole thing will blow up. But for now, ESPN is like, this is the thing for us.
We're re-upping?
Well, I don't know about any of that. I'm just saying that. This is the way ESPN is thinking.
I need answers, Dan.
All right, we'll get to the answers.
I'll
in
do
a second.
some planning here.
All right, can we plan? We've got a parade in play. Here's what we've got. All right, ESPN is now backing a split national championship situation. I revealed to you, I broke the news earlier this week that the University of Central Florida were the actual national champions.
I don't know about that. I think they're backing you.
That was a scoop. That was a scoop that we had here on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz on 790 The Ticket. That Central Florida. What a great way to break the news, right?
Yes,
just that Central Florida is your champion.
I have to stop you there too because Central Florida does not like being called Central Florida. Yeah. They're okay with University of Central Florida, but not as good as if you just straight up call them UCF. That's what they prefer.
All right, well, take it
insist
easy.
on it.
All right, take it, because the only show and the only host really who's behind this school is Dan, and because he is, he can call him whatever he wants. All right, you have one undefeated season in a national championship. Relax. All right.
I have been calling them though the Golden Knights. They are no longer the Golden Knights. I have been calling them Central Florida. They don't like being called Central Florida.
The Knights are still golden. I mean, they're not running out as red Knights or silver Knights. Like, calm down, all right? Central Florida State University.
Yeah, gold is still part of their color scheme. I don't. They're these UCF people. A little bit high maintenance.
All right. So this is an unbelievably strange cause for us to have ESPN support us on.
I'm not even sure I have any conviction about this cause.
It's very strange. It's tongue-in-cheek, and it's just made to make fun of sports. It looks like anarchy. It feels like anarchy. It's all nonsense. And so ESPN has said, all right, you go. And so we are headed to Central Florida. Now, I got all sorts of things going on here because I'm like, all right, you guys want to make like these Jim Rome tour stops? We'll go as a family. We'll just take a big bus. We'll take a big bus from here to Central Florida to lead the Central Florida parade. You're just learning of are you just learning of my want to take a field trip as a show?
No, well, I saw the text that you sent, and I was shocked by it, and I didn't respond because I was so shocked by it. These are things I would have loved to do for the last 15 years. What took you so long?
No, I know. Well, Central Florida had to win. I'm sorry. The Golden Knights, I'm sorry. The UCF Knights had to happen.
Oh.
In order for me to want to do rock star remotes where we're Jim Rome going to a campus and people are flooding us with likes, hearts, and retweets as Stugotz laps it up this miracle season by the single most betrayed national champion in the history of collegiate sports. This injustice is what has allowed us to support UCF with ESPN's help. So, the staff is engulfed because we don't even know how we're going to get to Orlando. And one of the questions...
Well, via bus.
Oh, you're going to love this, though. You are going to love this. The question asked yesterday by an executive at this giant company, the worldwide leader in sports. The question was asked, who's paying for this?
And I got one better, Stugotz. The question was posed to me.
So who's paying?
An excellent question. But I told Allison, get us a bus.
We got a text. So after I get this question, who's paying, and I don't really know how to answer it.
It might end up being me.
Might end up being Dan. After that question, I wake up to a text. Hey, let's get a bus for all our families.
Right. I mean,
I don't want to subject my wife to this.
Exactly.
No, if anyone wants to come. Wait, if we sold seats on that bus, we would pay for this entire thing just selling seats on that bus from Miami to Central Florida.
Do not do that.
You're inviting listeners to come with us?
We have a bus. We have a bus idea, okay?
Yeah. Does it have my face on it?
Actually, maybe.
Well, this is what I like, right? ESPN once upon a time gave Tony Kornheiser a bus in order to drive around from Monday Night Football to Monday Night Football because he'd get drugged up because he was afraid of flying. So they wanted him on a bus. We got to get a Stugotz bus.
I'm afraid to make the bus ask, but I think there's a way that we can make this work for ESPN where it's not that asinine of an ask. Yeah. Golic and Wingo have a bus.
Let's steal it.
What?
Oh, let's steal their bus.
Golic and Wingo have a bus?
Roll it on!
Let's just repurpose the bus.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait a minute. We can steal. I think we need to figure out a way in keeping with just, God, what a wonderful spot ESPN has put us in, being anti-establishment from within the establishment. But let's just steal their bus.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be in Atlanta on Monday.
Yeah, so we can have the bus just drive on down, scoop us up. Now, our bus would have Golic and Wingo's face on it, but we could possibly do something.
Well, you know what's funny about this, though?
Great.
Here's another thing that's funny as part of this conspiracy to steal the Golic and Wingo bus. All of these bus drivers, because they're in the bus so often, love sports radio. I don't think we're more popular with anybody than like Kornheiser's bus driver and the bus driver of the Wingo and Golic bus. We can absolutely bribe this person to come and be a part of our anarchy where we steal a bus, take it to UCF, and declare them the rightful and just national champions.
Sweet. So on my swap board, I'm going to put as positives bus drivers like us.
Yeah.
Where are the boxes of T-shirts? 49 boxes of T-shirts.
They're going to be housed because we're now kind of sure when this thing will happen, but I needed to have.
When's it happening?
The day that's being discussed now is Friday, and I feel if it's going to happen, it's going to happen on Friday. I feel
okay. We should do it Tuesday, but understood. I understood that there's too much
Tuesday
going on.
because that's when the real national championship.
What?
I'm sorry about that. The consolation game is being played.
Because you do it after the season ends, after the consolation
game
between Alabama and Georgia.
The University of UCF, not Golden Knights, are actually having two celebrations, one at Magic Kingdom on Sunday, and a lot of people were complaining, like, why are you doing it at Magic Kingdom? You should do something that sort of boosts the local economy, do something for everybody. So they're doing something on Church Street the night of the fake national championship, as they see it.
I mean, come on.
No!
Yeah. Which rolls us out because we got our megacast, which would also make Tuesday difficult. I don't know about you, but I don't want to just hop on Golic and Wingo's bus at midnight and drive up to Orlando.
If it's stolen, I'd do it.
Also, we want to make this big. So with the help of our affiliate in Orlando, who's holding 49 boxes of T-shirts.
Maybe they're paying for it.
At this moment. Yeah, we're hoping that we can get a lot of people out there. We are going to be the third UCF.
I know. That's good.
Well, I mean, are people still going to care by Friday?
Listen, let me explain something to you. The amount of fear that just swept over me, honestly, where I just realized that it's going to be us and our families on a bus. And there will be 7 vagrants and students are not going to be in class. 7 vagrants, 4 guys that we made signs for, and we're going to be on ESPN holding a parade that's not a parade for UCF.
Why do you have me putting Emma and Rachel on the bus?
Yeah, no one's taking the
twin
family.
13-year-olds. They don't want to be on the bus, man.
Going in and out, man. Going in and out.
That's how Rachel and Emma got here.
Yeah, we don't want to take our families. Does anybody want to take your family?
I mean, they can take days
Why
off.
take days off? I know it's a holiday weekend. My Disney annual passes don't even work that weekend. They're blacked out. This is very inconvenient.
Really? What?
I can't even imagine my family would want to go. Like, I don't even think it's a choice for me. Like, I'd love them to. I think it's a great idea. Bus, families, we bond, all that stuff. Dan hasn't seen my kids since they were 2. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I don't think my kids want anything to do with it.
We're not even sure how many of us want to go. Right. I know I have to go.
Well, now we're stuck. The only problem with the story, because I love these nonsense fireworks shows that don't have anything to do with anything and are just a mockery of everything. Gosh, do you guys realize, though? You guys laugh about this, and I don't want to do it and stuff. But if this damn thing had somehow managed to be the University of Miami in Central Florida's position, this would have been the coolest thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like if it had been the University of Miami that had been betrayed and we could have done that on behalf of Miami against ESPN with this is your bogus championship. We're the champions. We've declared it. Do you know what a party we could throw in Miami that way?
Yeah.
Like you'd think we wouldn't have to wait for Monday in the national championship game and people at Central Florida bossing us around because they don't want to be known as UCF or the Golden Knights. They don't want to be known as Central Florida, whatever. Right.
Yeah, that would have been great. So much better than what we're doing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the one hole in my plan, but it's a giant one.
So, now Billy, who is sort of scared about this.
I was just going to ask, are we still doing it?
I just want to do it to steal the bus now.
Yeah,
I don't even care about the parade.
I'm scared now too. We gotta get Lorenzo to film someone here stealing their bus and see just what happens.
No bus, no us. Hi everyone, Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
This is quintessential Stugotz. Hobnobbing with people in Utah. What's the most ambiguous general sentence I could give these Utah fans? I got it. If Rudy Gobert can stay healthy, you guys are on to something. And that's not the quintessential Stugotz part. This is 5 months later. Told you so.
Stugotz.
That is quintessential Stugotz, man. Just give them a sentence that doesn't mean anything and then make sure to keep tabs on it so 6 months later you can say you were right about something. Even though what you originally said wasn't right or wrong, it's just a sentence.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
All right, let me explain something to you. We have too many crusades going on, and first of all, we haven't even gotten to smoking out this despicable owner of the Marlins, Bruce Sherman. Like, I will continue to say every day that the new owner of the Marlins, Bruce Sherman, who is using Derek Jeter as a meat shield, continues to avoid this radio show, even though this radio show would like him to come out of the shadows and talk about some of the things that he's doing, as the Miami Herald reports in a 5-part series that all these guys are gutting everything to make profit. So, Bruce Sherman, if you care at all about what your friends think, and the number one show in sports radio on AM radio is coming after you, big boy. And you saw what we did to the commissioner. Bring it. So, we've got that off to the side. Stugotz got to go to somewhere in February that he doesn't really want to go, but now negotiations have gotten to the point where Stugotz is going to be honored in Sioux Falls.
I think so, yeah. I don't know if I'll be there.
Yeah,
but,
Stugotz doesn't want to go. They've acquiesced to all of his demands, so that's off to the side as well. But now I want to start another crusade. And this is all going to kill our staff. which will be unfortunate, but we'll keep crusading after that.
Okay.
Mike, I see that Mayday sent us some stuff here, and some things have been coming to my life recently that have just been strongly music related. Mayday is a local hip hop group. They're great, and they sent us some stuff here. And my brother and I are doing an event that's going to be music and sports related. That's going to be very cool, and we want to start doing some of these events with the show where you can come out and party with the show, and then there could be concerts around it and whatnot. And I'm curious, like, what would you want if you wanted to do that? If you wanted to do something like that, Stugotz, what kind of music would you want? Like, what we're going to do it with Miami bands to support the Miami music scene. Mike, you could speak to this better than most. The Miami music scene is always asking, pleading, crying for help. We got so many talented people down here who are just starved for an outlet where people can come see them perform.
Yeah, Mayday is one of the great success stories in the local scene.
No,
because
but they've been grinding for so long.
You call them a hip hop act, and they are, but they're also just great live musicians. I remember when they were the house band at Jazzed, and it was a must to go there every weekend when they were there.
But me and my brother want to start doing this stuff like all the time, like big events where you get these people in South Florida who care about South Florida, like Pat Riley and Udonis Haslam and people, and you get them to come out, and you get, like, we were talking about, how cool would this be? We were talking about something. I don't know how much of this we're going to be able to do, but over months, like, I want to grow this thing. We were talking about, like, Chris Bosch sitting in on guitar with, like, the bands, stuff like that. Doesn't the Dolphin Long Snapper, isn't he like some accomplished musician of some sort? The guy who's been the long snapper for the Dolphins for the last 75 years?
Looking it up.
John Denny? Is that it?
I mean,
I say that with a question mark. I know that there isn't one in his name.
It's been some derivative of John Denny since the undefeated team of 1972.
Yeah, I would love to do something for this scene because it's a really good, especially garage rock. We have one of the better garage rock scenes in the nation. We have so many great garage rock bands down here.
Well, we'll be able to announce the musical group here in a while. We got a bunch, and it's just going to be cool. And I just love the idea.
Did you get the Grateful Dead? Pearl Jam? How about the Boss?
Those aren't really Miami bands.
Oh.
That's not really Miami.
Well, you asked me what kind of music I wanted, and so now I'm answering. How about Pitbull?
That's Miami act.
That would be good.
You know that there's this guy.
You getting him?
You know that there's this guy called Mr. 786?
No, there is
and
not.
And he's made a
No, there's
genius,
not. No, there is
He's
not.
made a career.
That is great.
Of getting the runoff?
Of just looking like Pitbull. And honestly, he doesn't really look that much like Pitbull, but he just has the shades and the little mustache and the right skin tone and the suits.
He's coming too.
Mr. 786.
He has to be at your party, Dan.
Mike, put up on your Twitter account or our Twitter account a picture of you dressed as a Pitbull on the grid of death and that guy and Pitbull, and just ask the question on Twitter, who looks most like Pitbull?
John Denny plays the violin.
That'll kill.
Well, but no, with a band, no, he'd be.
No, he plays them at family events, dinner parties, and church meetings. Listen, if you do this like multiple stages where, bands are performing at once and Denny's on.
That's right.
A soloist.
As one of the choices, I promise you,
Okay.
no one but family and friends will
I
be
understand now the flaws in my plan.
And even his family and friends won't show up to that.
I understand what you're saying. Come see the Dolphin Long Snapper play the violin is not luring the big young crowd.
I'd rather watch
our show popular.
I'd rather watch him just snap a football.
I'm just like, I just find myself excited because
it sounds cool.
But I want you to understand this. And I want Miami to understand it. Like, we're on the other side of something here, right? Because I don't think the people of Miami sort of realized that. Gosh, this is going deep inside on this radio show, but like at the beginning stages of this, they didn't know who Stugotz was. They didn't know what Stugotz was. They didn't want Stugotz on the show. They just sort of wanted to create an ESPN show that was like all their other shows with the Hispanic dude from Miami. At one point, they wanted me to work in Bristol with Jonathan Coachman. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, man?
On his Periscope show? Or?
Like, what? Why are you, what? Why are you asking me if move to Bristol to do a radio show with Jonathan Coachman?
You were going to be the and company?
I was going to be the and well, anyway. So that's where we started at ESPN. We started at ESPN, and I was perfectly happy doing what we were doing, which is drive time show in Miami. Miami Herald columnist. I don't want to go anywhere. And so I told them for 10 years, I told you, I was CAA's worst client. There were so many good offers coming my way. You want to do something with Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp? I think that became Eisen's job or something like it. Do you want to fly out to Los Angeles every week? No, Miami. No, Miami. No, Miami. No, Miami. 10 years, CAA's worst client.
No, Orlando.
No, Central Florida.
Wait, you could have been the face and the voice of the NFL Network?
I'm not sure what that was parlayed into. Hold on a second. I don't know if that was parlayed into Eisen's job.
Hell of an agent,
there was a show with Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp, but they were trying to create something for me that was very Miami. Let's do a show. Like, you want to do this with Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp, a very Miami thing. And I'm like, no, more Miami, more Miami, more Miami. I'm not leaving the Herald. I'm not leaving 790. More Miami. I'm not doing it unless you make something more Miami. And so what do? How about a studio at the Clevelander? How about you work with your dad? How about your brother does the art? How about we bring your entire crew, everybody? Okay. That's more Miami.
Let me get back to you.
No, it was sort of like that. I'm like, okay, that's more Miami. I work with my dad. Okay, let's go. And so to go from that now to grow this thing with you guys that has never betrayed Miami, that like really cares about Miami, to grow this thing. And I know you guys were scared that the show was going to change. It was going to be different. It was going to be stiff. It was going to be starched. To go from there to we now have a freedom at ESPN because we've won them over through the success of being what we've been from Miami. Now we're on the other side of it. And ESPN is like, go, be big. And I've always wanted to take Miami with me on this. Like, I've never wanted to leave Miami. And so now we can go. And whatever remains of this radio show is going to be the most fun we've ever had.
Well, it should be. This part should be the
right, but this is these are here are the fruits and the rewards. Like I have, when we made this transition, Stugotz can tell you, man, God bless him. He has been so patient with me. And Mike too, and everybody's been patient with me. When we made this transition, because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to work for ESPN. I wanted to just do what I was doing in Miami. I was fine. When we made this transition, I was unhappy for a while. And you people who have listened to this radio show for a while, you could hear it. Like, it wasn't very well concealed. I didn't want to be doing it. But now we are on the other side of the rewards, and we're going to steal that Golic bus, dude. We're going to steal it. Like, that's where we are now, right? Yeah! We are going to steal that bus.
Our damn bus now.
I'm checking that bus.
Yeah, not your bus. Our bus.
Our bus.
Our bus. And now we're going to ride that bus through the countryside, arrive in Orlando, and there are going to be 6 people there holding signs, 4 of them paid by us.
Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code CHAMPION to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. mybookie.ag. Promo code CHAMPION. And your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. MyBookie.ag.
Don Le Batard.
Stugotz remembered today that 790, the original incarnation, one of the options was 790 the Shark.
Yep, it was. Yeah. The ticket, the ball, the shark. And I think the wave, 790 the wave was also another option.
I think 104.3 the squid was another option.
Stugotz.
I mean, think about that. 790 the octopus. Rocking your puss.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Where are we with the Heat, Mike? What are you thinking? They beat Detroit the other night. Ish Smith is taking jumpers at the end of the game. I'm feeling pity for Stan Van Gundy.
Olynyk was so good in that game. He really was. He's been a good pickup.
Or
man.
Tolliver was so bad in that game.
I mean, Olynyk was He was great. I mean,
yeah, I still think it's too small of a sample, but so far, this Olynyk contract has not been anywhere near the disaster I thought it would be. In fact, it's been a damn good signing so far.
But they're just okay. They're a 500 team, right? Like, I don't even mean in the standings. I mean, have they given you anything that has suggested to you for a second that they're anything other than a 500 team?
I mean, lately, maybe some signs here, 7 of 10. I mean, 20-17.
Josh Richardson has been playing well. I'd have to see the schedule to look, the strength of schedule and all that stuff, because I'm not sitting here. They beat Boston, but I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, they've got a lot of good wins there.
Yeah, I do think that there's a month coming up here that's going to be pretty treacherous. But Josh Richardson, as you mentioned, that December, if he's a player that he was in December, that is an all-star player. He was unbelievable in December. He had a disastrous start to the season, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they beat the Clippers, they beat the Hornets, the Celtics, as you mentioned, the Mavericks, and the Magic twice. So that's fair, what you're saying there.
Yeah. But you always, whenever you see a winning streak from an okay team in the NBA, just go check the schedule. They were probably playing a bunch of bum teams.
I don't know what to make of them because they've been hurt, but everybody on their team is sort of like an 80 on NBA Live or NBA 2K. So if you lose one, someone else just slides in their place and you don't really feel the loss too much. You're not really feeling a Dion Waiters loss.
Well, Dragic is playing really well.
Yeah.
When he can be out.
When he's out there, but he's been hurt a lot. And when Dragic is out, Tyler Johnson's been stepping up. And if Tyler Johnson's bad, Josh Richardson's good. And James Johnson's out and Winslow steps up. And then they're both hurt. Well, who's going to play? You're getting Bam Adebayo to step up, making Hassan Whiteside look expendable sometimes.
Well, what's happening there? What happened the other night where he's just playing 17 minutes? Like, what is going on with him? Are they slowly bringing him back, or is there an issue that they've been better? There have been rhythms developed since he's been out, and they're trusting those for the moment. Like, what are they counting his minutes?
It's interesting because Spo's kind of changing the offense a little bit. He tweaked some things because 500 wasn't good enough, and they're playing slightly better than a 500 team now, and they're asking their centers to make more plays, which is why Hassan Whiteside, I damn near fell on the floor when I saw he had 4 assists one night, which was obviously a career high.
I have read some things. Help me with this, okay? Because I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I feel like I have read some things that the Miami Heat, in the way that they're approaching three-point basketball, is they're doing that about as well as anybody in terms of creativity. It was interesting after Stan lost how easy he made the math after the game. He's like, look, they killed us with the threes, and it wasn't their good three-point shooters. It was the guys shooting in the low 30%. Those guys buried us. It was just a bunch of guys. And so the way that they're trying to correct that they don't have stars and they can't be up there with any of those teams is they're trying to play high-value three-point shot basketball better than everyone else. And if you're doing that, that Whiteside contract is a bad contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Really bad
You
contract.
could sort of formulate a theory that Spo realized, man, if I had a center that kicked it out a little bit more and creates more open looks, Hassan Whiteside would be such an incredible player because he commands double teams inside. People collapse.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
But are they going to teach him to play like the post player in one of these Golden State offenses? Because Spoelstra's a progressive, so he's trying to do. D'Antoni's just flooding the market with threes. Golden State is going to beat everybody at threes because they've got the greatest shooter ever and the MVP of the league. Like. You can't have and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. You're not beating them at that particular game. But Miami's saying, and Cleveland's trying to play that game. They're not beating them at that game. Miami's saying, okay, we want in on that game too. And where does that leave us on Whiteside?
Part of what might be going on with this recent run too, and I know they're not playing super quality teams, but the wins against Orlando were good wins because this team has struggled against Orlando in recent history. Amin told us that they were generating the looks and they were shooting so far below on those open looks than they were last season. So a lot of this is a math working out in their favor now.
Are any of you guys stunned by how quickly what I'm about to say happened? That all of these guys, the Russian, as you call him, for the Magic.
Vuvicic.
Valanciunas.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
Another Russian.
You could keep going to Gasol.
These Lithuanians.
Drummond. Are all of you not stunned that player is now useless? That in that sport, it has to be Capella. It can't
Right, it's got to be an athletic
Like,
big.
it happens so bleeping fast that it's confusing to me.
No, Capella's funny. I'm enamored with Capella. He's like a 6'10" guy, but he does it. You're right. He's not playing the same game as Whiteside or Valanciunas.
I am really confused by the evolution of the sport, but the Miami Heat are telling you, look, that's the way we're going to do it too, because we're progressive, so we're going bombs away threes because we've recognized the market inefficiency of a shot on the court is worth more than all the others.
Right.
If you take more of those, you're going to think about what I'm saying here, Stugotz, on very basic, simple math. It's not actually math. Most NBA games, you're sitting there watching, and if it's a crappy game, team loses by 12. That's a difference of 6 baskets or 4 if they're 3-pointers. So the difference in that game, ostensibly a blowout of 12 points, was 4 baskets.
Right.
In a blowout, 4 baskets between the two teams. The only thing separating them was 4 baskets. Now, one of the teams, Golden State or now Houston, everybody is saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to just beat that math to death by taking 53s. We're going to beat it to death. So we're going to make it hard. The margin of error is so much larger there. And that evolution has been, I just can't remember in the history of sports seeing something happen that fast on an evolution that happens right before your eyes.
Wait, so have we arrived at a place where Kelly Olynyk is a more valuable player in the NBA than Hassan Whiteside?
This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about.
Because he hits threes at a high percentage and he could pass.
And Drummond, and they're forcing DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis to get to the 3-point line. And Marcus Gasol is trying to evolve his game because he doesn't want to become the dinosaur. He's trying to move that 18-footer to 20. And LaMarcus Aldridge is becoming a stiff because he won't move that shot back 2 feet. And everyone's just moving away from the inefficiency of the 2-point jumper. And so Spoelstra's saying to you, I'm going even deeper. I want even more spacing. And so what I'm asking you, Mike, because you've been watching them more than me, is that boxing Hassan out? I know he's been injured, but did he play 17 minutes the other night? Because Spoelstra's saying, bleep it, I'm going Ellington. I'm going to drown Stan Van Gundy in threes. I'm going to have my 40% shooters taking them and my 30% shooters taking them, and I'm just going to bury them because any time we make half of those shots, we're going to win.
Now, he played 29 minutes the night before, Mike. So
yeah, and they might be easing him back in. The ball's in Hassan's court because I understand what you're saying, but how do you get that spacing? You get that spacing oftentimes with a dominant big.
But is he going to do it?
He can't. It's up to
they
him.
get the spacing. They didn't get the spacing with the other night against Detroit. The way they got the spacing is because Dragic was killing them going to the rim,
driving and then dishing.
He was
out.
collapsing the defense, and that was and it kept Hassan on the bench.
Right, but I mean, historically, you get spacing either through amazing passing, like the Spurs did against the Heat, or inside out. And sometimes it's Dragic going inside and wrecking a team, or
Mike,
Hassan.
But Mike, they have a lineup where they could put out there. They could put Dragic, Olynyk, Richardson, Johnson, Ellington, Tyler Johnson. Okay, I mean that's
here's where you're wrong.
It's spaced. Mike. It's a lot of threes. Everyone on the floor can hit threes, and Dragic, as Dan pointed out, can get to the rim, create, and then dish out.
Here's where you're wrong, because what you're saying is absolutely, and this is what I'm talking about with the evolution. This is how the sport has changed, but your thinking on this particular thing hasn't quite moved with it. The teams that are doing this best are not doing it with a Whiteside.
Doing it with a Jordan Bell or a Capella.
Yeah.
They are not doing it with one of these Drummonds. The teams who are doing this 3-point math the best aren't doing it from the inside out. They're doing it with the way the Spurs did it, with the passing, they're not doing it with post play.
Yeah, I guess my whole point is, now imagine if Capella had the offensive skill of a Whiteside.
Correct.
Or just imagine if Whiteside could pass,
yes,
really.
But Kenny, I guess that's what I'm asking you. You've got one of those Grid of Death helmets that says over half a Hassan Whiteside pass a game. Can he be someone who brings the double team and is totally content just saying, here, you guys take threes?
It's assists. That's a fine.
What
not
did I
passes.
say?
Pass.
Yeah. Sometimes you pass and it doesn't result in an assist.
I'm sorry.
But he's hit the over the last 2 games. Yeah. No, he's hit the over the last 2.
But they must be beating it into him. Like, I'm guessing that they're saying, hey, Hassan, your pass, you sit.
Maybe there's a little bit in them, seeing how they played around Bam and how coachable Bam has been. And anytime he makes a mistake, it's usually not that often after you see it again and corrected. I mean, Whiteside might be feeling like, hey, if I want to stay down here in Miami and feed my koi fish and be a part of this team, I need to adapt.
Well, the Bam thing is interesting because Bam will just do whatever you ask him to because he's young and the Bam thing is interesting because you can ask yourself, wait a minute, if I take Bam and I put him in Houston, do I have Capella? Like if I take Bam, he's got the body type that I'm talking about more than Hassan.
No doubt.
And he's athletic. His defense isn't very good because every time he's in the game, all I see is dunks and layups. But do you make Hassan Whiteside expendable? Man, I can't believe I'm talking like this, but like that's
no, it's a fair conversation to have. Actually,
I know,
it is.
I know.
But what's the market for Whiteside?
Well, that's the thing.
That's the problem.
But what I'm saying to you is,
you want someone to take on that contract.
What I am saying to you is, has the evolution of the sport happened so fast that Hassan's contract, which was just signed and seemed like a good idea, leaves him behind immediately? Where they're like, wait a minute, whoa, no, it was Bam Capella. We need him smaller, thinner, more positionless. Because if you're telling me Spo's changing the offense to get more threes and be better at threes than everybody else, if that's the way they're moving, Hassan White either fits in or fits out, right?
Whiteside, yeah.
What did I say?
You said White, yeah. It's Whiteside, fine.
That is a fine.
You're having a hell of a week, man.
That is a fine. Ooh. And I owe some money from previously.
Oh, you haven't paid the Frank Layden fine? You killed him. I mean, you're getting off easy.
Well, but the maximum...
Most people go to jail. You just have to put in, $100, and we're good. You killed Frank Layden, man.
If you're just joining us, we have a fine system in place. The maximum fine for anyone is $5. Earlier this week, I said that the late departed coach of the Utah Jazz, Frank Layden, was dead, and he is not. And so Stugotz says that that's a fine, which it isn't, and that it should be a fine of $100. And I just don't understand why you're allowed to make up the rules like that.
I don't know.
On the fine, the maximum fine around here. In fact, here's one for you. I'd like to ask the audience this, and I would like to ask the producers this. Please come up with what should be the show's first historic $20 fine. What should be?
Wow.
So let's increase
besides
the money.
killing Frank Layden?
Okay. Yes. Besides, that's not going to get grandfathered in. If we accidentally kill somebody, well, wait a minute. Is Bob Einstein going to be on with us on this megacast?
Allison, come to the mic here because we're running a couple of ideas. Oh, she's not here? Okay, well, here's the idea that I have for Bob Einstein. I want to try to trick him into thinking it's not a radio show, and he thinks our radio show is cursed, but it's not the radio show. It's a megacast. It's different, but from what I've heard, he doesn't want you to be a part of it. He thinks it's still the show. So I was running it by Allison. Could he just talk to you on the air? Are you both comfortable with that? So we're going to try that.
Oh, but I could also just leave if he needs me. That could be funny.
This scenario has you getting up and leaving.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. So, in order to end what Bob Einstein, Super Dave Osborne, believes to be the curse that this show has, that we kill people who are guests, because Alan Thicke passed away after becoming a friend of the show. Adam West, I don't feel like that one's on us. He was 88.
I'm a little shook. We played an Alex Trebek sound yesterday, and now all of a sudden he has blood clots in his brain and has to take a leave of absence.
Oh, man.
Bill Paxton came on with us, and soon thereafter he was dead. And so Super Dave Osborne claims that the show is cursed and he will not come on it. And so we've been trying to get him to come on it, and he says he likes living. And so now we're trying to get him on this megacast to break the curse. And I just don't know how to do that. I don't know what this megacast is going to be. Is it just going to be shenanigans and hijinks?
And what it's going to be is nonstop for 3.5 hours. So we kind of need to figure it out. I think we're going to go a little stir crazy too, because you do owe some. Nah, I was going to say you owe some respect to the game, but nah, not really.
Why would you owe respect to the game?
The audio is going to be playing the whole time.
Oh, who cares? Okay. Respect to the game. Nobody that is on that channel is watching for the. They wouldn't be watching on that channel for the game. They'd be watching.
Well, you could see. We can say whatever we want. They'll still be able to see the game, right?
Yeah, and hear it.
Yeah. Okay,
and hear it.
All right.
There will certainly be a feed of the game.
It's an interesting experiment. Right? It's an interesting experiment. Well, you guys, this is what can happen. You guys, if you decide to watch the bogus national championship that is being played Monday night between these two loser teams, Alabama and Georgia that lost to Auburn.
That we're also a part of.
What? So if you want to just not watch that bogus game and watch us watching that bogus game.
Or not watching.
You can, or just watch us around that bogus game. If they show, because they're doing 4 or 5 of these megacasts, if our audience comes the way that our audience tends to arrive at things, they will flood that megacast with something that'll be a spike and will make us defeat the mighty Larry Fedora, who will be watching it on another channel while eating peanuts and dissecting the game with Coach Talk. If we need to beat all of these megacasts because our listeners and our viewers are flooding Monday night watching the game with us.
Guys, this megacast, it is honestly a major deal for the network. I was told that this thing won an Emmy 2 years ago.
Oh, it's great.
What? Wait, do we get Emmys?
No,
do I get one?
Well, here's the thing. They've given us carte blanche. Like, they're actually giving us creative control over the thing. We should send that out to the audience. What should this be? Like, send us ideas to the Twitter account. What do you want us to do with this?
But I'm just wondering, Mike, because the megacast, so it has the game in its traditional form, and then it has the coach's room, and then it has a bunch of people watching the game, and then it has the hometown broadcast. Where the people watching the game? Are they going to go anywhere else but us, or are they on us the entire time?
So the megacast, which will be on ESPNU, I believe, as Dan just said, and this should really be a fine for you because you were not listening. There's going to be 5 different crews
he doesn't listen
doing
to anything,
megacast.
I don't think Dan said that. If you play back the tape, I don't think he said that. He's talking about Larry Fedora in a coach's room.
$20. That should be the $20.
No, I'm not paying $20 till Dan pays his $100. So anyway, what are we doing here?
We've discussed this all week.
Okay.
No, he doesn't listen to anything.
I have no idea what we're doing next week,
I
Chris.
don't understand.
None.
I don't understand
No
how
idea.
this show is successful with somebody who just doesn't listen.
This is the first time I'm frustrated with
No,
you.
Mike, yesterday.
I left you alone all week, man.
Mike,
I haven't
yesterday
asked
we
a
were
question.
talking for months on this show about the show Ozarks, and he asked me yesterday.
That's a good show.
You ever seen the show Ozark?
Watched episode 5 last night. Whew.
You haven't been paying attention to any of this megacast because you responded to a group text saying, "Is this in Coral Gables?"
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. He is.
I mean, no one's
he's
keeping me in the loop,
infuriating
man.
and incompetent, and he doesn't deserve all the success.
You're just not reading. We're keeping you in the loop.
It's unbelievable. He's
Listen,
just,
when the lights go on, man, I'll own the thing. Don't worry. Just tell me when they get
That's the
there.
thing. He will too, and he will.
We will.
And he will.
But the lights are coming on.
I know,
here.
but he will. He'll own that. He'll pull up his pants. He'll take his hands out of his underwear, and he'll eat a combo, and he'll kill it. And
What day is it going to be?
And all of us will soar into the sky.